Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Jay Mando coming at you with another video. And as you've seen by the title, today we're going to be talking about which is better, AirPod reselling or designer clothes reselling. So let's get right into it. Alright, so first things first, I just want to talk about what I consider AirPod reselling and what I consider designer clothes reselling. When I talk about AirPod reselling, I'm basically talking about everything electronics. So AirPods, AirPod Maxes, JBLs, Dysons, the hair dryers, everything like that I consider AirPod reselling. And then designer clothes reselling is basically anything that's clothes. So just to give you guys some context on that. So to determine which one is best, there's going to be three pillars I'm going to talk about in this video. Cost, profit, and how easy it is to sell. So I'm sure that's pretty self-explanatory, but just to give some extra context, cost is going to be how much it costs to get started. So basically how much the products cost, pretty simple. Profit, also pretty simple. How much are you going to make on each product? And then last, how easy is it to sell? So basically, if I put an item up on eBay, is it going to sell in the first 3 days, or am I going to have to wait 2 months for a sale? So stuff like that, I think those are the three most important things. So let's talk about it right now. Okay, so starting off with cost, one thing that you're going to start to realize is that there's a lot of variety. So it's kind of hard to compare them neck and neck, because we can talk about an AirPod, which is going to cost you about $18, or we could talk about AirPod Maxes, which are going to cost you about $65. Or we could talk about JBLs, which can cost you like $15, or we can talk about Dysons, which could cost you like $100. So there's a lot of different things to talk about here. Now when it comes to designer clothes reselling, you could be talking about a little Louis Vuitton wallet, which would kind of match the price of AirPods. Or we could talk about, a jean jacket, like a Louis Vuitton jean jacket, which is going to be very expensive, probably closer to the price of a Dyson. Or, something like a hoodie, which is probably going to be in the same range as the AirPod Maxes. So there's a lot of variety both ways. And you'll see that variety I'm talking about if you take a look right here. This is my reselling guide for the electronics, aka the AirPod side. And you'll see all of this stuff. Like the AirPods is going to be around $18 for the Pro 2s. The Dysons, like I said, we're looking at $95. JBL's $15. Then we got stuff like the Apple AirPod Maxes, which are about $65. And then we have Beats, Bose, all of this stuff. So there's a ton of variety, as you see, just looking through the prices. We have stuff from $10 all the way up to $100. So there's really price points for everything. And then when it comes to the designer clothes, shout out to these guys looking through the product photos right here. Basically, you can get stuff like the cheaper little leather goods for almost $20. Stuff like this right here. We'll go under the bag station. Give that a second to load. And then in the meantime, we'll just click on a random clothing link here. But say we go over to Louis Vuitton, we're talking about wallets here, so just click on a little wallet. This is my supplier's product photos. If you guys want to get in touch with the supplier, we have the clothing reselling guide, which is you basically get direct access to my supplier, and then this is the stuff that he has, which you are free to look at in the description. And then the electronics is everything I just showed you here. We have the bundle on moneygetsbigger.store, links in the description for $40, and then we have them individually for $25. And then if you guys see, this sale right here is ending in probably the next week. Insane prices right now, so I would urge you to take advantage of it while you still can. Crazy what they're going for right now. $40 is nuts for both of these. Like I said, electronics alone, you're getting all of this. And then supplier, for the clothing supplier, you have everything here, which is so much stuff. We just clicked on like whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to go too deep into it. Let's just talk about the wallet. But like stuff like these wallets right here is going to rival about the AirPod price. But here we are on another link. Like this Denim Tears hoodie is probably going to be around, like I said, the AirPod Max's price, which is like $50, $60. And then t-shirts are going to be pretty cheap as well. But I'm trying to see if I can find like something a little more extravagant here. And we'll see. Like, yeah, some of this stuff, like the jeans here, Balenciaga jeans, stuff that just like stuff you could sell on Grailed. So these are going to be a little more expensive, but since it's a Balenciaga jean, you could sell it for a lot more. Like Chrome Heart jeans, obviously they sell for like $10,000, but stuff like that. It's going to be more expensive, but the retail price is way higher. So yeah, once again, if you're interested in either of these, the clothing supplier or the electronic supplier links, you head over to moneygetsbigger.store. Link is in the description, and check that out. With that being said, I think I'm going to give the slight edge to AirPod reselling, just because for that very small price point, you can get AirPods, which are probably the most popular product, and at that same price point with designer clothes, you're going to get something like a Louis Vuitton wallet, which will sell for a lot more, but it's a little bit harder to sell, and it's not as big of a market for it. So I'm going to give the slight edge on cost to AirPods, but it is very tight, and it's honestly up to preference. And that's another thing you guys are going to notice a lot throughout this video. It's kind of up to preference. You can go either way for a lot of these things, and that will lead me into my next thing, which is profit. When it comes to profit, it's very hard to give an exact number for reselling designer clothes, because let's use the Louis Vuitton wallet for example again, just to keep things simple. You could sell that wallet for 100, 200. You also could sell it for 600 if you get the right buyer, if everything goes right. So there's kind of no, like, you can't sell a pair of AirPods for $500. It's just never, ever, ever going to happen. It's not possible. But with the Louis Vuitton products, the high-end stuff, it is possible. It's just that it's not very likely. But all in all, I think I'm going to give the edge on profit to clothing, just because, like I said, the higher-end products could sell for so much money. If you get, like I said, a pair of Louis Vuitton, whatever, a wallet, small leather goods, or whether it's clothing, any designer clothing, you got to realize this stuff retails for $4, $5, $6, $1,200. Compared to stuff like AirPods, which retail for $250, but you can really buy them anywhere for like $150. The AirPod Maxes, I think, retail for like $500, but you can get them for probably like $350. The Dysons are like $400. You can get them, like, all these stuff, you can get them cheaper, and even for their full price, it's kind of nowhere near the reselling designer clothes retail price. The designer clothes, like, every designer brand is just, it's a different level of expensive. Like, it's crazy. You're paying $1,200 for a wallet. So profit is definitely going to designer clothes just because of those higher retail prices and what their market is at. All right, so the third thing we're going to talk about is which is easier to sell. What can you get more volume out of in terms of, how many sales you're going to get. And that one I'm going to go ahead and give to AirPod reselling. AirPods are way more popular. A lot more people are looking for AirPods than they are looking for a Louis Vuitton wallet or Balenciaga jeans like we talked about earlier. AirPods are just way more appealing to your everyday person. You probably know a ton of people who wear AirPods. Most of your friends probably wear AirPods or at least have them. So it's a very popular item. Obviously Apple, which is like one of the biggest brands in the world and one of their key products. So a lot of people are looking for the AirPods, and of course that goes hand in hand with the AirPod Maxes. Stuff like the JBLs, aren't too popular. Maybe around summertime they're more popular. The Dysons, they're actually really popular. If you ask your sister or your mom, she knows what a Dyson is. They're very popular, a lot more than you would think. So those sell really well as well. A little bit of a tongue twister there. But stuff like designer clothes, you do have way more room to sell it for. Like I said, you could sell it for a lot of money, but it just comes down to, again, who's really looking to buy designer clothes like that. Which, don't get me wrong, there's definitely a market. But if you're spending a lot of money in designer clothes, one, you probably want it to be from that, the retail store. Like if you're spending $500 on a Louis Vuitton wallet, you probably want it to be from Louis Vuitton. So if you're buying it secondhand, that kind of makes the market even smaller. So definitely I would give it to the AirPods, but it kind of, it evens out. It's a very hard choice to make. Honestly, the best choice to make is to do both. That's like, I'm just kind of doing this for the video, which one's better. But realistically, if you were to choose which one to do, you should do both. They have their pros and cons, but together, they kind of cancel out each other's cons. They just become a pro. One great big pro, which is just reselling in general. So I would suggest you do both. They're very great on their own, but when you put them together, they become even better. So yeah, that would be my verdict for this video. Which one's better? Both. Do them both. There's no reason to pick either or. Do them both. You can get my links for $40 for both of them, which is insane right now. That's gonna, like I said, that sale's not lasting too much longer. So, instead of picking one or the other and spending $25, you just throw an extra $15 and now you have both. So I would tell you just do both. You sell one pair of AirPods, you already covered what you spent on the links and the AirPods with just that one sale. So you're good to go. I wouldn't really worry about how much the links cost just because you're going to make that back so fast. So it's good to have both. It's good to have the variety. You have a ton of variety with just the electronics and the designer clothes alone. When you put them together, that multiplies by so much. So like I said, I would just suggest you try both. Can't go wrong with either or. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe and be good.